The outrageous decision by the ICC prosecutor, Karim Khan, to seek arrest warrants against the democratically elected leaders of Israel is a moral outrage of historic proportions. It will cast an everlasting mark of shame on the international court. Israel is waging a just war against Hamas, a genocidal terrorist organization that perpetrated the worst attack on the Jewish people since the Holocaust. Hamas massacred 1,200 Jews, raped Jewish women, burned Jewish babies, took hundreds hostage. Now, in the face of these horrors, Mr. Khan creates a twisted and false moral equivalence between the leaders of Israel and the henchmen of Hamas. This is like creating a moral equivalence after September 11th between President Bush and Osama bin Laden, or during World War II between FDR and Hitler. What a travesty of justice, what a disgrace. The prosecutor's absurd charges against me and Israel's defense minister are merely an attempt to deny Israel the basic right of self-defense. And I assure you of one thing, this attempt will utterly fail. 80 years ago, the Jewish people were totally defenseless against our enemies. Those days are over. Now the Jewish people have a state, and we have an army to defend our state. Notwithstanding the blood libels Mr. Khan has leveled, Israel will continue to wage this war in full compliance with international law. We will continue to take unprecedented measures to get innocent civilians out of harm's way and to ensure that humanitarian assistance reaches those in need in Gaza. Mr. Khan also sets a dangerous precedent that undermines every democracy's right to defend itself against terror organizations and aggressors. The ICC has no jurisdiction over Israel, and Mr. Khan's actions will not stop us from waging our just war against Hamas. But Mr. Khan's abuse of this authority will turn the ICC into nothing more than a farce. He's doing something else. He is callously pouring gasoline on the fires of anti-Semitism that are raging across the world. Through this incendiary decision, Mr. Khan takes his place among the great anti-Semites in modern times. He now stands alongside those infamous German judges who donned their robes and upheld laws that denied the Jewish people their most basic rights and enabled the Nazis to perpetrate the worst crime in history. 2 weeks ago, on Holocaust Memorial Day, I pledged this: no amount of pressure and no decision in any international forum will prevent Israel from defending itself against those who seek our destruction. To all the enemies of Israel, including their collaborators in The Hague, I renew that pledge today. Israel will wage our war against Hamas until that war is won. We have no better friend, and I mean it, than Senator Lindsey Graham. It's not said, this is actually a very precise statement, you know, it's very precise.
Thank you.
It's not over the top. It's...
That's my job.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is my 5th visit since October the 7th. We have been friends for almost 30 years. I met you through my good friend John McCain. Mm-hmm. This was one of the most challenging times for the State of Israel since its founding. There are so many problems and challenges to overcome, but one of the problems you never have to worry about is America. I promise you that we will do all we can, Mr. Prime Minister, to hold the ICC account for this outrage against the people of Israel. A slap in the face to your judiciary. To International Court of Justice, you're a joke. The head judge of the ICJ is a raving anti-Semite.
At the top, talk about these devastating images and reports coming out of Rafah over the weekend.
And just want to get your reaction as well to the House Republicans asking for sanctions against the ICC or some of its officials. Is that something that the Biden administration is going to support?
No, we don't believe that sanctions against the ICC is the right approach here. No. I mean, look, we obviously don't believe the ICC has jurisdiction. We certainly don't support these arrest warrants. We've said that before. We don't believe, though, that sanctioning the ICC is the answer.
The extremely wrong-headed decision by the ICC prosecutor yesterday, the shameful equivalence implied between Hamas and the leadership of Israel, I think that only complicates the prospects for getting such an agreement. We'll continue to forge ahead to do that, but that decision, as you said, on so many levels, is totally wrong-headed. And we'll be happy to work with Congress, with this committee, on an appropriate response.
You know, so many faces.
תקשורת, בבקשה, רק מהצד שמחוץ למסגרת. חבר'ה עיתונאים, תנו לנו קצת מרווח בבקשה. קצת ללכת אחורה, תודה. We have all over the world, but with you in the leadership of United States.
And for all those countries who decided to recognize a Palestinian state, do you know what that felt like here in Israel? You just gave credit to Hamas and all that they did. For all those looking at the ICC and ICJ, right before we landed, there were strikes in Tel Aviv. Why? Because the ICC and ICJ just emboldened Hamas. They just gave them everything they needed to know. And when the friends of Israel back off, the terrorists move in. It was orchestrated by Iran. It was helped with Russian intelligence. And it was fueled by money from China. Don't deny that. China's been funding Iran the entire time. Russia's intelligence helped them know where everything was. Iran helped get them trained. So this isn't Hamas. Look at these. These are all murderers and accomplices.
A lot of brothers and sisters. I know him. He was with me. He learned. Yeah, he was in my high school together. Really. And his mother, he's telling his story. The fact that I could be, my parents could be each person that speaks on the news, right? They came only to the party area and left. The fact that it was so fragile, like,
Thousands of Palestinian citizens came and robbed and killed and murdered and went back and came back again. The reason this is important is you hear about Hamas, but there's an entire generation of Palestinians who are now entrenched with that Hamas ideology. Now, what I pray for Palestinians is that they get Hamas out of their lives.
So we really need your help with this. And I trust you.
No, you should. I mean, and what they are having to do now is surgical. To go in there and make sure they eliminate Hamas. You'll remember when this happened, I said finish them. They need to finish Hamas. Don't stop until they finish. But also make sure that that security is intact so that it never happens again from Hamas or anybody else. And so I will always push America to do what I think is the right thing, which is you stand by your friends and you don't waver on that.
She was going to run here. This happened the 7th of October, and she was going to run to be the mayor of the city. All over the world. We didn't get her out. Oh. If she runs even not so fast, 10 minutes, and with a motorbike 3 minutes, can I wait?
You know, there is a cave there, you see, how close is cave. That's what we call the divine cave. That's where the